This morning you're going to be learning about the new government's view of our sector, what the opposition party thinks and how they can support us.
So I attended the Motorcycle Industry Association conference for 2025 on the 18th of February down in London at 30 Euston Square. Now, this is obviously an annual event, takes place every year, and one which naturally I attend to see what exactly is being said. Now, one of the main drivers for me attending such events is the fact that they will invite the Minister of State for Transport and usually the Shadow Minister for Transport as well to come along and give their views on motorcycling issues. And of course, this year was no different. So they invited the Roads Minister, Lilian Greenwood, to attend. And they also invited the Shadow Transport Secretary, Gareth Bacon, to attend. And as you'll see in this video, the Minister, the Labour Minister, Lilian Greenwood, actually only attended via a video link with a pre-recorded video presentation, whilst the opposition were represented in the room by Gareth Bacon MP. But what I wanted to do in this video was to give you, as far as possible, full sight of what was said. Now, it has to be said that I was attending in my capacity as representative of the Motorcycle Action Group. I was also the Motorcycle Action Group's videographer, so I was holding the camera by hand whilst sitting in the audience and, as you will see later, trying to ask questions to the discussion panel. Yes, the footage is a little bit shaky at times and the audio isn't exactly perfect, but I thought it was important to try and bring you as far as possible the full messages that were coming out from government and from the opposition. Now, sadly, you will see that I had technical issues with the camera halfway through the presentation from Gareth Bacon, but I hope that you'll see that the majority of it is there and you will at least get a sense of what was being said. So obviously we're starting here with a pre-recorded video presentation from Lilian Greenwood, and then we move on to the presentation from the Shadow Transport Secretary, Gareth Bacon MP.
I can't join you in person, but I'm pleased to have the opportunity to say a few words. And I'd like to begin by paying tribute to the work of the MCIA, especially your unwavering commitment to championing the better understanding of the views and needs of both riders and industry within your diverse sector, and the progressive way in which you continue to make the case for the greater future role for powered light vehicles within a clean, efficient, safe and reliable transport system. Your sector delivers real value to the UK economy, supporting businesses and keeping the country moving. I believe that working together we can build a greener transport network. This government is committed to transitioning to net zero. In order to achieve this, all modes will play a part. While the transition to electric cars is well underway, it's quite right for your sector to say that one size does not fit all across transport. When it comes to powered light vehicle sector, we know there are complex challenges to decarbonisation, and we recognise your calls for technology neutrality when it comes to the 2, 3 and 4-wheeled light vehicles. But the transition to zero emission also provides opportunities with UK companies like Maven leading the way. For the UK to remain competitive, we have to stay ahead of the curve. I'm pleased that industry understands the future is net zero, and the government has brought in measures like the plug-in motorcycle grant, which has supported the purchase of over 12,000 mopeds and motorcycles. It's important to this government to have a collaborative relationship with industry, and I will continue to listen to your views, knowledge and experience. Turning to safety, my colleagues and I are determined to work with all of you to make our roads safer for everyone who uses them. Too many motorcyclists are killed or seriously injured on our roads each year. Over the period 2019 to 2023, an average of 6 motorcyclists died and 102 were seriously injured every week. This is unacceptable. That's why we'll develop and publish the first road safety strategy in over a decade. It will be evidence-based and a product of partnership. And talking of partnership, last month I was pleased to attend the first meeting of the reconvened Motorcycle Strategic Focus Group, which considers motorcycling in the wider context, including mobility and decarbonisation, as well as safety. At that meeting, I confirmed that our government is considering plans to review the existing requirements for motorcycle training, testing and licensing, taking account of long-standing DFT and DVSA plans and recent proposals put forward by the sector. I look forward to this group taking forward the necessary actions to drive forward improvements for motorcyclists over the coming years. On type approval, we recognise industry concerns about divergence with EU type approval rules, and we're working to reduce this wherever possible. We have a long-term programme of reform to develop a type approval system that is less onerous and minimises the administrative burden on manufacturers while maintaining safety and environmental standards. I hope this conference not only highlights the range of actions already underway, but also sparks the important conversations needed to move us forward. Thank you for your time, your attention, and most importantly, for all the incredible work you do.
So that's the views of the current government. I'd like to invite on stage Gareth Bacon, who is MP, and he is the Secretary of State for Transport from the opposition party. Welcome you up, please, Gareth. Thank you very much.
Morning, everybody. Thank you for inviting me. Not quite Secretary of State yet, maybe in 4 years. Hope springs eternal. It's a privilege to be here at the MCIA annual conference, representing a sector that is not just critical to the future of UK transportation, but also a shining example of how industries can evolve and thrive. This industry has a proud history of innovation and resilience, but it's no longer simply about weekend rides or leisure, as we've heard already. I know that the sector has transformed because it had to. It now offers forward-looking solutions to some of the UK's most pressing challenges, such as urban congestion, emissions reduction, and the need for accessible and sustainable transport options. I want to commend the MCIA for its 2022 action plan, which lays out a clear roadmap for growth, sustainability and innovation in L category vehicles. The roadmap reflects the reality that, as you here understand, the industry is broader than just motorcycles, but involves a wide range of solutions, including electric scooters and mopeds. I was pleased that the previous Conservative government cooperated with the MCIA in launching this plan. Though it's undoubtedly true that there was insufficient government follow-through thereafter, and there is much more still to deliver. Whether it's improving access or enabling L category vehicles to use bus lanes, I know this sector has practical solutions for today's challenges, but I know that the current Labour government is failing to take forward these reasonable steps. When the previous government launched our plan for drivers' consultation in 2023, it received responses far greater than usual for a government consultation, and the large majority of responses were supportive. Strategy. From delivery services to electric mopeds and scooters, these vehicles are already transforming how we move. If it continues, the government's present failure to prioritise them as part of an integrated transport vision would be a missed opportunity to build a smarter, cleaner and more efficient network. So it remains to be seen whether the Minister's warm words about working closely with you will translate into action. I'm happy to say that the industry has so far proven resilient and adaptable, but we all recognise that government support is still required. The government's claims of supporting business in general are undermined across the board for a variety of reasons, and in this sector in particular, they're undermined by their failure to address the regulatory burdens that hold the sector back. Streamlining unnecessary regulations and reducing costs are some of the essential steps to developing the full potential of L category vehicles. Without this, the country risks falling behind in innovation. A full-scale regulatory and licensing review of the entire L category sector is essential if manufacturers are to serve the needs of tomorrow's users. The Minister said a moment ago that the government is considering plans to undertake this, but I know that she provided no commitment nor timescales for doing so. In fairness, it is still early days for the new government, but so far their handling of phase-out policies has created uncertainty, leaving manufacturers unable to plan for the future. This uncertainty undermines progress and ignores the unique challenges of transitioning to electric models, particularly for larger capacity motorcycles. Continued government inertia could risk stalling the progress we all work so hard to achieve. Timelines must balance technological challenges with achievable goals, supported by supply and demand side policies. A technology-neutral approach is essential, and I'm glad that the Minister acknowledged this, because imposing unworkable targets risks harming the industry and undermining the government's stated climate objectives. The government talks a lot about net zero, and if this industry has shown that it can deliver meaningful progress if the government provides the support that it needs. The L category sector should be an important part of the government's sustainability plans, but the government's indecision so far and delays risk leaving it behind. Decisive leadership and strategic investment are urgently needed. My party has always championed realistic and sustainable targets, and we will continue to support manufacturers to ensure policies are fair, practical, and aligned with keeping businesses competitive in the UK. This sector is no longer defined by its past. It's a leader in modern transport innovation. Britain's motorcycle industry once led the world, and with the right support, I hope it can be a leader again. My party remain committed to innovative industry and promotion of good enterprise, and I can promise that we will continue championing leading industries and hold the government to account so that the whole country can prosper. I'd like to thank you again for inviting me here today to be with you all and to wish you well for the rest of the conference. Thank you very much.
Now, obviously, after the presentations, there was a discussion panel, and I took the opportunity to ask this question.
Thanks. And then finally, Colin. And if you can pass the microphone, that would be great. Thanks.
Thank you. Colin Brown from the Motorcycle Action Group. I noticed that last year we had a video presentation from the sitting government and the opposition in the room. This year we've also got a video presentation from the sitting government and the opposition in the room. What can we do to change things so that we actually have the sitting government in the room as opposed to the opposition this time?
Well, I'll take that question. I think the clue is in your question, actually, Colin. But what I will say is, obviously, it's early days for this new government, not making excuses for them. We did receive a written apology to say that Lilian was out of country and wouldn't be available. We did actually put a request into DVT, which is a completely different, it's the Department for Business and Trade. As this is an industry discussion, it's not just transport, we need to learn more about business. I'm confident once we have established our position with the new government, we'll get them at this type of event sometime in the future, hopefully next year. So yeah, I mean, be assured, Colin, I'm sure, I know you guys keep working hard on it, is just to make sure that we'll get them in the room. And I think if we can get this new government to pick up where that our position with the last government left off around the action plan, then that should give them the platform and motivation to want to be here in person. So we do all we can, Colin.
So there we go. I'm not going to say any more at this point, but there will be future videos coming out where I will discuss in a little bit more depth some of the things that were discussed, other presentations that were made at the conference, and I hope that you will look forward to seeing those. I'd be interested to hear your comments and thoughts on what the Minister had to say, and also on what the Shadow Minister had to say. And please do look out for the future videos, and don't forget to hit the notification button to make sure that you see those as soon as they come out.